I'm Greg Sutton, Chief Academic Officer for Hardin County Schools. Very glad to be here with you today to do another segment of Impacting Learning, Empowering Students. We have used this Impacting Learning and Empowering Students opportunity to really showcase a lot of the great programs and many of the great pathways we have going on right here in our district. Today I'm here with Mr. Tom Pitt of the Automotive Instructor here in Hardin County Schools, one of our main pathways located at the Early College and Career Center. Now, since we are masked today, Mr. Pitt, if it's okay, I'm going to go ahead and remove my mask. Sure. We're socially distanced here, and I think our community will be able to hear us a little better. The automotive pathway is a very popular pathway here in Hardin County Schools, and we want not just our high school students, but we want some of our middle school students, before they do that one-on-one scheduling in 8th grade, to think about, well, what's that automotive pathway about, and who's the instructor, and what type of things can I get by being part of that pathway there at EC3. So, Mr. Pitt, thanks for being here with us today.
Pleasure to be here.
Good, very, very glad to have you. And I'm just going to let you tell us how long you've been with Hardin County Schools, or how long have you been working with the automotive pathway?
I've been with Hardin County Schools since EC3 has been around.
Really?
So since 2014.
Wow.
And before that, I actually worked at Greene County Area Technology Center. I was the automotive instructor there.
Okay.
And so I've been in the education business for automotive technology since 2013.
Okay.
And kind of the way that came about was I had a really good educational experience at EC3, and I made a promise to myself that if I ever had the opportunity to be able to give back and to make other students feel the way that instructors made me feel, that I would go ahead and do that. And
so right here at E-Town Community Technical College,
yes,
is where you got your education.
Right.
And then you brought that back to us here at Hardin County Schools.
Absolutely.
Now, what high school did you attend, if you don't mind me asking?
I went to LaRue County.
Nothing wrong with that. So you stole one from the Hawks over there. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. So you had LaRue County High School, came over here to ECTC, and kept that right here in the Hardin County community to service our kids. Greatly appreciate that. And you've been here since the inception of our program at EC3. So you've kind of seen this program from the bottom up.
Absolutely.
Yes, you kind of seen the growth of it. How many students do you have in your pathway right now?
Right now we have maintenance, light repair, the classes. We have 24 students in each class. So I've got a class in the morning and a class in the afternoon. And I also have a basic automotive class, and that class is not as full.
Okay.
Just because of the way things are right now.
Is 24 kind of your cap? Is that what you try to set your limit to when you're scheduling with Mr. Robbins? And
24 is awful high. We can do 24 right now because it's divided up A-B schedule.
I got you.
We like to stay about 20,
okay,
just because we have students in the shop atmosphere, and there's one of me.
Okay.
But right now we have 24. We're able to do 12 and 12, and the instruction still works really well.
Something I want the kids to know is, if they're signing up for this pathway, what grade level do they have to be in to start the, I guess, introductory course for automotive?
So our basic automotive course, it starts as a sophomore.
Okay.
So the 10th graders, you'll sign up for that as a freshman when you do your scheduling when you're a freshman.
I got you.
And so you take that class as a sophomore. Now that class doubles. It's basic automotive, but it's also workplace principles. And so I have my senior students, my leadership students, they come in and they help teach that. And so students who may have started as 10th graders, they go through, and then they go through maintenance, light repair. By the time they're a senior, they're ready to help instruct.
So they're instructing.
Absolutely.
So really what we need to tell people, for parents and students that are watching this segment right here, when you're thinking about this pathway as an 8th grader leading into your high school schedule, the first time you can actually join your program is a sophomore year.
Right.
So that freshman year, when you look at your 4-year outlook, you need to make sure you're saying, Mom and Dad, I want to be part of the automotive pathway. When I'm preparing my schedule from my freshman year on, that sophomore year, I want to make sure I can be over there with Mr. Pitt.
Sure.
That is great. So you kind of mentioned, I think when some kids think automotive, well, I'm just in the automotive pathway, but you already mentioned some courses. Could you repeat those again? Name the courses the students will take throughout their time from sophomore to senior year to earn whatever industry certification there is.
Yeah. So their sophomore year, they will take basic automotive.
Basic automotive.
And that's workplace principles. We put that in there. Actually, what I do is I incorporate things that I wish I had learned in tech school. Mm-hmm. Things like how technicians are paid. Okay. Things like how the flat rate system works. Things like how to write a repair order. Things like how to talk to customers. Things like how to sit in a job interview. Fill out applications. Every student, as soon as they come in, the first thing they do on the first day is fill out a job application, because
Really?
many students have never done that. And if that's their first one, then that's great.
That's good. Good experience. That's what they need to be doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'd rather them take their first one, and if they mess something up, I'd rather it be with me so that I can guide that.
Coach them
Yeah.
the process. So that's the first
sure.
class. And then where do they proceed from there?
And so from there, we have a set of 4 maintenance and light repair.
Okay.
And so in maintenance and light repair, we have electricity, and then engine repair, engine performance. We have brakes, we have steering, suspension, HVAC, so climate control.
Okay.
Inside those. And so basic.
And that's
repair.
basically the amount of courses they take.
Right.
That they're going to do those courses over a 3-year period, the ones you just mentioned.
Well, a 2-year for
2-year
for that. Yeah.
Got you.
But
Anything else?
yeah, automatic and manual transmissions.
Aha. Is that more their senior year? Is that more toward the end of the program?
So what we do in a perfect world, see, we're on a trimester schedule,
Right.
and so in a perfect world, a student will have one maintenance light repair class as a junior,
Okay.
and then they'll have all 3 as a senior.
I got you.
And so the first one will be typically that's electricity and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then their senior year, they get everything from the very beginning of the year to the very end of the year. And so when the students do that, a lot of them opt to double up. So they'll be there in the morning, they'll be there in the afternoon. And so they can have special topics, they can have advanced problems,
Okay.
things like that. And sometimes that also goes into our cooperative education program.
Okay. Let's talk about industry certifications and how many kids you're graduating out of this program. What type of industry certifications do they take with them? What are those certifications?
So automotive service excellence, ASE, you may have seen that on shop signs or
Yes,
something like
all the
that.
time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so there's no license for being a technician in the United States. And so they do what's called a voluntary certification. And so with voluntary certification, that means that you're really serious about what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so we offer ASE entry-level certifications to our students. We pay for that. We pay for seniors to take that. There are 10 of those that they can take.
Okay.
And so the state really pays attention to the maintenance light repair, because that's a class that we teach. But they're able to bring many more of those, like electricity, like engine performance, engine repair, the things that I'd spoken of earlier.
They can earn those as well.
They can earn every one of those.
Okay.
And so if you've got someone who's going into an entry-level position at a dealership, that looks really good. It's not just a student certification, it's entry-level.
Yeah. So how many kids, how many seniors in your program this year?
This school year, we have about 18.
About 18
seniors.
That's great. That's a good amount. Let's talk about community support and job opportunities. You mentioned potentially, are there co-op opportunities for these kids? Any of these kids?
Absolutely.
Do they reach out to our community and get some co-op positions?
Well, we have the community reaching out to us.
Okay.
And so
they're coming to us for jobs.
They are. And one that I can't say enough about, the Swope family of dealerships, they've been exceptional. They have reached out to us, and they've asked us if we could set up times for them to come out and speak to our students. They have sponsored apparel with the school's logo on it, and so they've really partnered with us. And so they take our seniors and they do a real interview process with them.
Okay.
They sit down and they do a real
life job interview.
Yeah, and they go through HR and they do all the things that you would do as an employee. And so one part of the school day, they go there. Mm-hmm. And so they have 2 classes with me, block schedule. So they're with me 2 hours a day. And so if they're co-oping, then they go to work for 2 hours. But it works out really well, because if they're in the morning, then they show up to work earlier.
Right.
And so they get more than just 2 hours.
Right.
And so if they're in the afternoon, then they just show up to work at 1 o'clock and they work until the place closes.
So they're getting their education through you. They're going to Swope, co-op opportunities, getting paid and making money. They're filling out job applications. They're going through job interviews. They are work ready whenever they come out of your program.
They're already working.
They're already working.
Yeah.
And I forget what it was. Even a couple of years ago, I remember you telling me one time that in one of your graduating classes, 6 of your kids went into full-time positions right out of high school.
2 years ago.
It was 2 years ago, wasn't it? Like 6 of them went into full-time positions right out of high school, right here locally with Swope and dealerships.
We had 2 that did not. One went into the military, and one moved to Texas to work at a dealership.
But the other ones
at Rusty Wallace Honda.
Really? So, but the rest of them straight right here in our community.
Yes.
And I like to hear that you said our community partners are reaching out to us.
Yeah.
They want our kids to stay here and get back to the community. So that means so much.
And one of the other things that I'm really excited about this year is actually the incorporation of a new pathway that our school board has just approved, and that is a diesel pathway. And actually, what that is, I will do the prerequisites for that, and so after that, admittedly, I'm not a diesel instructor, but I can do prerequisites for stuff like that. And so most of where the pathway stuff comes from is through the cooperative education. And so we'll do things like through the county schools bus garage, and there are other places that are looking into getting students for that. And so we're really looking forward to having our students branch out into other forms of transportation. With entry level stuff, technicians are going to start with certifications between $10 and $15 an hour. I know that's a big jump, but it's usually $12.50 to $15 is what we're looking at for entry level stuff. And then as technicians become more skilled, as they get more certifications, it's not unheard of for technicians to do $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 a year. I don't want to sit here and guarantee students that that's where they're going to be in 5 years or anything like that. But you certainly have that capability. It's really up to you. There's nothing from keeping someone from starting their own shop, starting their own garage or diesel shop or anything like that, especially with the co-op and experience opportunities that we have for these students.
So I do have this question, probably a question we've already answered, but how do you measure success for your program? What do you say? I've been doing this for 6 or 7 years. Mm-hmm. Here's what I look at as for success. It may be a fair, unfair question. I'm just curious what.
No, it's a fair question. The textbook answer is we look at industry cert. Yeah. We look at industry certification. We look at job numbers. We look at things like that. For me personally, I look at the trajectory of somebody's life.
That's outstanding.
And I know how that sounds, but I've had students who have come up to me later on. One young man who works for Swope right now. Mm-hmm. He was ready to quit school, and got into some trouble and said, "Hey, look, I need just one more shot. Can you do that?" I said, "Yeah, for sure." And so we turned him into somebody who was going to be a drawer. I don't know if you can say that on here. Drawer drawing a check. Now he's a taxpayer.
Right.
So
a productive member of society.
Absolutely.
Somebody who is out working and has work ethic and took an opportunity, and you gave him a second chance. And that's what life's all about. That was outstanding. Thank you for saying that, because I think that shows what Hardin County Schools is about too.
My greatest joy is being able to, like I said earlier, make someone else feel about this the way that I was made to feel about this. My greatest joy is passing the torch and continuing the trade. I don't want this trade to die. I owe my life and my livelihood to this trade. And so I feel like I owe it to the universe or the trade or whatever you want to look at it, to continue this on. And so I see that happening, and that brings me exceptional joy. And it's not just me, our administration.
Yes.
We're all working toward the same goal. And I feel like we're doing great things by our students.
Mr. Robbins,
yes,
Mr. Coomer,
absolutely.
Ms. Wright, all the way, the whole administrative team.
Exceptional staff.
Exceptional. And I appreciate what they're doing for kids, what you are doing for kids. If students are interested in this automotive pathway, right now, being in COVID times, a lot of times people don't just show up at EC3. Mm-hmm. We're not going to be having field trips to EC3. We're making little 4-minute video clips so our 8th graders can watch them. Well, hey, I might be interested in that pathway. Right. But if they don't get to see some of that, how could they get information about the program? What's the best way to reach out to you?
On the district site, they can go to the EC3 part of that.
Okay.
They can get information that way. You can email me directly. It's tom.pitt@hardin.kyschools.us.
Pitt, Tom.Pitt. All right. Well, Tom, appreciate what you're doing for our kids of Hardin County Schools. Thank you for starting this program. Thank you for sticking with our program, impacting learning, empowering students. Thank you for this segment today, and have a great evening.